Fantastic.
Yep.
So I'm Dana, as I said to some of you. I'm one of the co-founders of Teachly, and I'm also the principal investigator on our National Science Foundation grant that's funding the development of our fractions app. So I'm really excited to share with you this new app that's on the App Store. Feel free to jump in at any time to ask questions or have a conversation. This is very informal. We just want you guys to have a little bit of a sense of the app before you bring it to your classrooms or to your schools. So I'm going to go through just a few slides, and then I'll actually just demo some of the features of our dashboard. So this is the follow-up to Boost 1. Have all of you played Boost 1?
Yep.
Okay, great. Good. So Boost 1 is focused on third grade standards, like really an introduction to fractions. Boost 2 sort of picks up where Boost 1 leaves off, focused on fourth grade standards. We cover pretty much all fourth grade standards with the exception of word problems. There's a lot more gameplay, I would say, in Boost 2 than Boost 1. There are 18 levels as opposed to 12, and the levels are longer. I think there are about 15 or so problems per level, but it definitely feels longer when you're playing. It takes more time to complete a level, which I think is good. There are, just like in Boost 1, there are mini lessons at the beginning of each level that only appear if you have lost that level and you have to replay it. But a lot of teachers like these lessons, and they sometimes project them on the board just because it's a nice visual way to show students what's going on and what skill is being introduced. So the content that's covered is fractions greater than 1, and because of the small real estate on the iPad, we only go up to fractions between 0 and 2 in the number line. In our lesson plans and our resources that we'll be releasing a little bit later this spring, we try to have number lines that go up larger than 2, just so kids know that fractions can be anywhere on a number line, not just between 0 and 1. We deal with mixed numbers, improper fractions, addition and subtraction with the same denominator, comparing fractions to landmark numbers like a half and 1. I'm sorry about that, the 1 got cut off. Equivalents, decimals, and multiplication of fractions by whole numbers. So a lot of content in here. We also have lots of different kinds of dashboards. So in Boost 1, primarily it's the same dashboard. It's a 0 to 1 dashboard, and it's pretty much modeling the same kind of functions. In this, we have almost, I would say, 16 different dashboards that are really visually showing different things. So, and I'll walk you through some of this when I demo the game, but you can just see here, this is the dashboard from subtraction, where you sort of have a ghost box here when you subtract. When it's an addition dashboard, you're going to get blue for the second add-in. So we're really just trying to highlight what's happening on the number line, things like that. And I'll model some of these when I walk through the app. Let's see. Like Boost 1, we do have a track builder because we know students love this. It's a lot of extra gameplay too, that once kids start passing levels, they can build their own tracks based on whatever level they're at. They can solve problems from that type. So that's fun. And again, this is again, you can customize your ship. This is a 3D water world, so it's a different feel than Boost 1, and we have a lot more 3D elements in it. There are coins, so I think the game is a bit more engaging for kids, which also makes sense because you also have older kids too, so we try to appeal to this age range. There is a built-in pre-test and post-test, just like in Boost 1. Again, right now we're primarily using this for research purposes, but hopefully we will be adding this to the dashboard so you can see how students have been doing. And we've noticed in general over all of our Teachly users, post-test scores are significantly higher than pre-test scores, which we would expect, but is also great news. So we're excited to just be gathering this kind of information. It's a really quick assessment that kids play at the beginning and at the end of the app. We have developed 9 more lesson plans that align with this content. They will be coming out later this spring once we release the data reporting for Boost 2. That's not being released yet, but it will be soon. We're just finishing up on that. Okay, and then for the demo, I have my iPad set up. Basically, as you may know already, you can use the teacher profile in your class. That's the best way for you to explore the app. I'll use that too, and there's an unlock button that allows you to unlock all the levels. So if you want to check out level 12 and not play through the entire game, which takes quite a while, you can do that. Any questions so far before I start the demo?
Nope.
Okay, great. So hopefully you can make this bigger. Are you seeing this box? Okay, I thought I was just doing that, sorry. Okay.
Okay, green and white, that's you.
So just highlight, it's automatically syncing with my Teachly account. I'll pull this up, just the way all of our EDU apps do. Press play. I'll play on the teacher profile so you can see. It's basically, so we have 2 pages of levels. It's a lot of levels. I'll show you, for example, I'm just going to show you a touch of a few of these levels. So the first level is just sort of a basic single fraction 0 to 1 number line. The second level, we introduce the 0 to 2 number line, and actually maybe I'll show that quickly. This is our 3D world. Hopefully I won't make you dizzy by watching it. But there's sound effects, which I obviously turned off, but
Yeah, quickly.
points are fun. Kids really like them. But anyway, let's see. I'll get this wrong. So a very important concept is, we make students realize that the unit is from 0 to 1 and then 1 to 2. It's 2 different units. So you have to break each of those units up into thirds. That's something that I think sometimes gets overlooked, and kids often misunderstand that. So that's important that we reinforce in this dashboard.
Yeah, that is good. That's something my kids don't get.
Yes, I think there's not enough done to highlight that.
Right.
To highlight that importance. But this is the basic idea of, that's basically what I wanted to show you from this level. Other levels, we introduce mixed numbers, and again, we try to make it really scaffolded in the dashboard. So, that's not a mixed number. I got that one right. For example, 1 2/3. I'll get it incorrect.
That's cool.
We just have them slide the second unit, and then we highlight that it's 1 and then 2/3. Okay.
You said the level time was a little bit longer. Like, how long would it take to do a full level?
To play a full level?
Yeah.
I mean, depending on how you're doing, like if you're getting everything correct, it doesn't take that long, but I would say it probably takes like 1.5 times the length of a Boost 1 level. I don't know why it takes, I'm also with the dashboard, it takes a little longer. So I think for kids, I think kids in a 15 to 20 minute block are, depending on how they do, could play 1 to 2 levels if they're struggling.
In red.
I think if they're doing all right and they're getting some wrong, I think it's still around like 2 levels in a 15 to 20 minute slot. So I think it's more, it's better to spend more like 20 minutes if you can having kids play than like a 10-minute level. 10 minutes. I think 10 minutes kids can still be on the same level. They can get through it if they're doing all right, but if they keep pulling up the dashboard, it can take a little while. Let's see if there are any other interesting ones. I'll show you like level 11. This is 9, sorry. The way we introduce equivalence is the first level we have incompatible denominators. So we want kids to first just be looking at denominators and saying, are these things even able to potentially be equivalent or not? Like fifths and fourths are never going to be equivalent. We want to highlight that. So we have them make a fifth, we have them make fourths, and we show they don't line up. And because they don't line up, you don't have to do anything else. Does that make sense? And then the next level, once they've sort of mastered figuring out the denominators, we have incompatible numerators. So the denominators could be fifths and tenths, but the numerators also have to be the same. Have to also That makes sense. So lots of kind of funky graphics, 3D graphics too. We tried to make it a little more interesting. Each level is kind of a different graphic. Another one, let's see. We do have multiplication, as I said, multiplication by a whole number in here. I can show you that quickly, and then I'll just show you a decimal level, but just wanted to give you a taste of.
I keep turning with you.
I,
I'm like leaning.
all right, let's see, 8 times 1. Some of these get really tricky, like the level 17 for adults can be tricky as you play and are trying to like race through it. It's hard sometimes. So anyway, so you're going to swipe to make ninths. So this, we have a slightly different mechanic. Instead of sliding, now we want you to tap, and it's the idea of you're going to take 1/9 eight times. So trying to help them understand, what does multiplication of a fraction look like? It's just like multiplication of a whole number. If you multiply 2 times 3 and you take 3 2 times, you're just taking 1/9 8 times. 1, 2, and we try to highlight the labels. And there we go. Okay, and then last but not least, I'll show you the decimal notation too, just to see what we do in decimals. I think we have 3 decimal levels. We have a decimal equivalence, and we show decimals, both fraction notation and decimal notation. And then we have the addition of decimals as well. So I'll show you level 15. So if we say not equal, so you're going to swipe to make hundredths. We actually show the hundredths. And then it allows you to quickly slide. This one is about the hundredths, but it gives students a way to compare tenths and hundredths pretty easily visually. And I think that's pretty much it for the demo, unless you have questions. But there's a lot of content covered in this app, which is really exciting. And I think the graphics, like I said, the 3D water world is even more exciting than our last racing game.
Mm-hmm. Say it's cool that you made it different. It's
Yeah.
a track, it's a different look, so that's kind of neat the way you did that. I know my third graders love the first one. So.
Oh, great! That's awesome to hear. Yeah, I hadn't been playing. I do research with students, and we hadn't been playing Boost 1 in so long, and now I came back to it. It looks very, very different. Yeah, this one has a different feel when you play it too. It's a little bit of a slower game because of the water. It slows you down a little, and the nature of the problems are substantially harder than Boost 1, so it needs to be a little more thinking time.
I like that you can't fall off the track anymore, too.
Yeah, you can't crash
off the track. And actually, this morning I was play testing Boost 1 because I was in the school yesterday and they kept getting off Boost 1 track. And we made sure that doesn't happen in Boost 2, but I've located some more spots. So we're working on that, and there will be an update to Boost 1. Even though kids think they're hacking the game and they love that part.
Yeah.
Frustrating for the teachers.
It glitched. They always want to tell me it's glitching. It glitched.
Yeah.
I don't know. It glitched. So.
Yeah. We're working on that. And I know there were a couple of things with the dashboard and Boost 1 a school just mentioned to us. So we're definitely actively working on debugging. So if you ever come up with any bugs, please let us know.
With the custom tracks, is there a way to limit which types of problems they can use, or is it unlocked everything kind of sequentially?
Oh, sorry. It's unlocked based on what levels they've passed.
So there's no way to like restrict kids from using the easier problems when they're creating their own tracks? I
think we may have an algorithm that you can only have a certain number of like single fractions. I'm going to find that out, and I can get back to you. I don't see who, was that Nick?
Yeah.
Okay. I can find that out. We've definitely been like talked about that concept, and I thought that we had restricted it, but I mean, I could tell you right now if I just do it.
Yeah.
No, doesn't look like we do, but we can definitely take note of that because I think it's.
Okay.
Do you find that your students tend to do that?
They like to try to compete for the fastest. Last year's crew like to try to compete for the fastest track.
Yeah.
So the simpler the questions, the
Right, like they probably all did 0 over
Right.
and just stay left on the track.
Right.
That's a good point to keep in mind. Yeah.
If we have this suite of apps, will this come up as one to demo, or will this
So
unlock?
you have to once you download this,
Yeah.
which is on the same iTunes page, it'll automatically sync with your account if you have the Teachly Connect app all logged in. So all you have to do is download it.
Great.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it should be a seamless process.
So this
Awesome.
one, this is just another one we can add to our Teachly.
Yep.
All right.
And we'll probably send out in a month or two a little survey to hear what you guys think about it. But please give us feedback about, because it's still, even though it's out there, it's always, all of our apps are works in progress. So, if you have ideas or your students have found things that they like or things that you think we wish we had. I really wanted to add word problems into this app, but we couldn't find a way to do it in a racing game. But hopefully soon. Also, we've started working on our third fractions app, which will cover 5th grade.
Oh, wow.
Content. It's going to be totally different. It's not a racing game at all. It's more of a puzzle game because you're dealing with unlike denominators, and it's not, it can't have that time pressure. But it's exciting. So we'll let
That's
you
great.
Yeah.
later this spring.
Is there any-
Fantastic. Yeah.